Good day, everybody. This is Calvin Professor C here. So a lot of viewers ask me to do a review of the appraisal report because when they order the appraisal, they do not know, what to look for in the appraisal report because it is, as you can see, 18 pages. They have no idea what to look at. So therefore, I'm doing this review for the appraisal report to give you some basic idea of what kind of important information you should extract from the appraisal report. Okay, so as you can see, this is a appraisal report. It's a sample one. I edited, I crossed out a lot of confidential information. As you can see, usually there's an address, appraisal for, the location of the property. This is for the mortgage broker or your company or the lender. This is for the borrower, is the applicant name, the date, and the appraiser's name, address, and this one is very important. Probably the most important number in the whole report. If this number is higher than or equal to your purchase price, if you're doing a purchase or if you're doing a refinance, if this number is higher than or equal to the estimated value, that would be great. Otherwise, if they purchase like this property for $3 million, but the market value is $2.5 million, then you are having a big problem. Your client is overpaying for the purchase price, or if it is refinancing, overestimating the value of their own home. Okay. So these are standard terms. Don't worry about it. Appraiser's name, client, mortgage broker, the lender, or your mortgage broker company. Okay, so there's a very common misconception for your client, our client, the borrower, that they think they're paying for the appraisal report and therefore they are the client and they should get this report and this and that. No, in fact, they are paying for it, but we are the one who is using it. So the client is not the borrower. The client is actually the lender, the mortgage broker, or the mortgage broker company. So, okay, so that's not right. If the client tell you that I pay for it, so I'm the client, no. Okay, appraisal company, property address, legal address, this, that, property tax, occupied by, right? So if it is owner occupied, it will say the owner. If it is occupied by the tenant, then it's that one. So the borrower name is there. Not much to look at there. If it is a condo, there's a condo fee, maintenance fee, everything. But this one is a detached home. No worry about that. Here I usually look at kind of like the trends. Is it improving in the neighborhood or stable or what? If it is newer than the neighborhood, or if it is superior, larger, then it will tell you. The comments from the appraiser, always read it. Okay, so it say, oh, located where, this, that, okay. The lot size, not so important. Zoning. So most of the time you will see residential. But sometimes when you look at the property and it looks like a residential home, sometimes in some odd times, it actually is only not residential, but maybe it's commercial, or even it's rural or farmland or agricultural. But 9 times out of 10, it should be residential. Okay, but we have seen some commercial property that furnished to be looks like a residential property, okay, but in fact the zoning is not. So that would be a big problem. Okay, so make sure this is residential. Here I highlight 2 things you have to look at. Most of the time for the newer house, it would be normal. But if you have you're doing a mortgage on a property on some rural area, it may be septic tank. If you do not know what is septic tank, go Google it. And the water supply, it may not be from the municipal. So it may be there's a private well there. So this type of property, depending on the lender, it might cause problem. So if you find out that the property is on the well water or a septic tank, talk to your lender. They may or may not approve your deal. Okay, but just talk to them. Other than that, not much. Again, make sure you read the comment from the appraiser. Here, usually I look at one thing, remaining economics life. If this number is too low, that would be a problem. A lot of the lender, if this number is less than 25 years or 30 years, then they would reduce the amortization. So say that this is remaining economic life is only 10 years. Your amortization, the lender probably will not let you go all the way to 25 years amortization, because by the time, on the 11th years, this house may, basically become trash, no use, right? It will break down because it's the end of their life. So this is one thing that you have to look at. If you did, I have done a property that has been over 100 years old, so this economic life is very low. Okay. Other than that, not much. Again, read the comment. Basement, how it finished. If the basement has another kitchen, some lender would not like it. Some lender would ask for fire, inspection permit and all that. So just be aware. Again, always read the comment from the appraiser. So this is another big page that most of the people spend a lot of time reading. So this is the comparison. Generally speaking, they usually have 3 comparison or more, usually no less than 3. So this is the subject property, the address, how big is it, and all that. So the first comparable, they sold it for $2.2 million. So, but they have a smaller lot. So if a smaller lot, it should be cheaper. So that means if the lot of our client is 44 feet wide, it should be costing more. And so the appraiser placed that frontage of 44 over the 40, it gives them an $80,000 value. Okay, so 40 square feet lot compared to 44 square feet lot, the appraiser gives them an $80,000 value. The condition is good for the subject, for our client, and this is inferior. So the condition, because of the condition is inferior, we should add another $60,000 here, right? Again, the livable floor area, this one is 3,400 square feet compared to 3,200 square feet. This is cheaper. So this sold for $2.2 million, but it's a smaller house. So you should add another $48,000 there, right? So all this number, if it is a positive, then you should add it back to the sale price, right? Because this is a smaller house, but still sold for $2.2 million. It's an inferior house and it's a smaller lot house, right? So all this add back to here. Bathroom, they have 5 full bathroom, whereas this one is only 4. So they add another $10,000 there, right? So overall, $2.2 million for a smaller house. This is a bigger house, so therefore, based on this calculation, the value, the adjusted value should be 2.4 million. Look at this comparison tool. Comparison tool, so for $2.6 million, again, it's a smaller frontage, but it's a much longer backyard, right? So overall, this is a larger lot, right? So therefore, it should decrease $70,000, right? Because this is a bigger house. So for 2.6, so smaller house, you should minus $70,000. Again, the condition is inferior, so $40,000 add back to there. This is a bigger house. It's a 3,500 square feet house compared to 34,000 square feet lots. So again, 20,000 difference. This one have another half bathroom, additional bathroom, higher price, and therefore you should deduct it there. So overall, based on this comparison, it's 2.5 million for our subject property, right? So you compare all three of this. If you find that this, this free comparison is not reasonable for whatever reason, maybe your realtor tell you that, or your client's realtor tell you that, no, but this one is, back on a busy street, this and that. Like if you have any argument that you think would support a higher value of your client's house, this free comparison is usually you use this to argue. So you go back and you tell the appraiser or the appraisal company, hey, I think this value is a little bit low. And the reasoning behind that is, I think maybe your comparable tool, although the lot is bigger, but I don't think, it is $70,000 difference, right? And this and that, and maybe the condition is inferior, but it should be like maybe $60,000 difference. So you can argue with them. Obviously, you need your supporting thing and supporting argument. And usually, though, for those, your client's real estate agent is the best help because they will have more information on the property, on their comparable, more than you. Again, all this is the comment. Always read the comment from the appraiser. This one is whether the property has been listed on the market within 1 year, and this one, yes, it has been listed. And what happened, right? And again, always read that. This one is just a standard thing, nothing to read. All this small print, not much to look at. And so finally, this is the final, the address, this and that. So based on their opinion, is estimated to be 2.56 million, right? So again, if your client is purchasing this and paying $3 million, then they would be very sad because based on the appraiser's comment, it only worth 2.5, right? They're overpaying for it. And it does actually happen sometimes, okay? So this comment, not much use. Not much use. Okay, so that one is a comparison method to calculate. But what if this, this thing burned down the house and you need to rebuild this whole thing? So they usually have another approach to cross-reference that. So it's a cost approach. Usually this one is not much, but it is also interesting to know what this is. So basically they put the value of the land at $1.6 million, and then to build this house from scratch, $250 per square feet times the size of the house. This is how much. Basement is finished, $100,000. double garage, $10,000, landscaping, everything that. So add up all this, and therefore, based on the cost approach, this is $2.5 million home. Okay. Now, one thing I will highlight is the land value. Sometimes, if you have a client that buy a lot, a property in a very nice neighborhood, but the house is like a very small bungalow, but it is selling for like 2.5 million. Sometimes maybe bridle path, just a torn down property and all that would cost you like 4 million, something like that. Not because the house costs a lot of money and it doesn't worth any money, but the location worth a lot. Like, I mean, if you have just a piece of land, no house in bridle path, in Toronto, in a lot of nice neighborhood, just the land itself costs a lot of money. However, one thing you have to caution is sometimes if the land value is exceeding like 89-90% of the total price. So if the client is purchasing this for 1.8 million, but the land value is already 1.6 million, some lender would not land on that because they say, well, in fact, the house worth nothing. I am basically borrowing money for you to buy the land. And as you may or may not know, most institution lender do not lend based on just the land value. They do not lend out money just based on the land value. Okay, so if you find that the final price compared to the land value is like the land value is exceeding 90% of the total price, then be careful. Okay, other than that, this income approach, they haven't used it, so no worry about it. And then afterward, they will have some picture of the subject property, some picture of the comparison and all that. And that's about it, right? So hopefully now you know what kind of information you should focus on when you read the appraisal report, and I hope you learned something. Okay, so I will see you next week.